Hi guys, my hair's a mess. I'm homeless, so yeah. I just showered yesterday for I really needed it. I actually had to go out and get a hotel room last night because I needed it that bad. Um, I really didn't have money for a hotel, but I had to. Uh, Sorry about the webcam being the way it is. It something happened to my laptop camera at some point and made it so that it's like this. And of course, they had to start vacuuming as soon as I did this, but I don't have any more time. I have to leave really soon, actually. Um, this took up, I found out, some famous people died. There's Hackman and, someone named Betsy. It occurred to me that some of the things that have been going on that I couldn't figure out exactly, and I had assumed that it had something to do with my court hearing because I was starting to wonder if they were trying to take my rights away or some crap. The people that were helping me move out of storage and wound up stealing stuff. Um, yeah, like I don't even know where to start. I honestly don't even know where to start, but it looks as though the people that were stealing from me, helping me with driving things out of my storage unit and trying to get things downsized, which they only did a tiny, tiny amount of help. We're talking tiny amount of help. It wasn't like a lot. I downsized one of my 10 by 20s. Um, It kind of looks like they took money or other forms of resources that Gene Hackman and Betsy might have been trying to give to me. Um, or they were trying to, because they were trying to get a hold of me apparently. Um, and this screws up a lot. I started wondering if when I thought I was talking to my lawyer, the only time that I talked to my lawyer, that I actually had an English conversation with the lawyer, during this whole entire year. So this would be really weird because it was the only conversation where, like, he actually set up an appointment and called me. He wouldn't meet me in person. He refused to meet me in person, and he refused to actually help me with anything, and he was, um, trying to, um, basically say that he wouldn't do anything for my defense at all. And well, not just basically, he was saying that he wouldn't do anything for my defense at all, and then he would say a word that I couldn't pronounce, I couldn't understand, I couldn't anything. And I'd have to look this is frustrating, I'd have to look up her name, Betsy's name. Betsy's last name, let me see if I can pull it up, is Arakawa? Let me see if there's a pronunciation on here. I'm looking at a screen on my Google, um, but it's spelled Arakawa, and I think that's one of the lawyer's gibberish words. I think that's one of the lawyer's gibberish words. Um, Yeah, I am pretty damn sure that's what he kept on saying when I kept on trying to get him to talk about the court case. And then he was saying like a weird gibberish word where he kept on interrupting me, and I think it might have been that word. Um, and I'm only finding this out now, and this was last fall that this appointment was. I have not had another appointment with any lawyers ever since. This was like last fall. And um so I don't know why they were talking to her, but there was probably something. Maybe she was like trying to help me. Maybe she was trying to send me money at some point. And I kept on saying I don't have a mailing address that I kept on not being able to get a hold of. And like, because there were like phone calls of people that I didn't understand who they were for like a year. So I don't know if she's one of the women that was calling me. Like, um, like, it just oh my god, the whole thing is crazy, right? So, he was saying something like that, and then, um so if there was something going on all the way back then, that means people have been stealing from me this whole entire time, probably the same people that are hacking into my accounts and taking over shit, probably the same people that are going online and saying I'm schizophrenic. Could be the same people so that they could steal from me. Cause like, who knows if they were gonna leave me $1,000,000. Um, then when I was at the newer feedback place, I can't say the word, neurofeedback place that's in Fairhaven on, like, Finnegan. It's directly across the street from the library. That lady had called someone named Betsy. And I thought she was calling somebody that I was restrained against because the call was really suspicious and I couldn't figure out what the hell she was talking about. Like, I couldn't figure out what words they were talking back and forth. It sounded like they were talking different language, that, they were doing that shit. And so I couldn't figure out what the fuck they were talking about. And like, um it's obvious now that she was talking to Betsy that just died. I thought it was somebody that I was restrained against, so I was, like, really worried that the cops were gonna come up, pick me up the next day type of thing because I was like, "Is this, code word for someone I was restrained against?" Because I was sitting even back when I got arrested, when I was sitting in the cop car, I said something about the name Betsy, and then somebody else said something about the name Betsy. And, I said that there was gonna be some Betsy that I just made up a thing. I just made up a thing, like, because I was, like, mocking the police, right? And used the word Betsy. So and I cannot explain it to you because of what I was talking about because, I don't even fucking know. Like, I was mocking the police, and I used the fake word named Betsy because I didn't know who anybody's name was. I used a fake name named Bessie, and I said it was a fake name. So I thought that when they called this person named Betsy, it had something to do with police. It turns out that they had to have been calling a famous person because They got my money, they stole shit from my storage unit, then they went to Oregon with it. The person that the near feedback lady, I think her name was Colleen, but I think I'm wrong. I can't fucking remember her name at all. Like, honestly, I can't even remember her name. But that lady that I was staying in her on her floor for a couple nights or whatever, she was supposed to help me with my storage unit, and um she stole shit. And then and then when I tried to talk to her again, she said she was going to Oregon. Well, the people that had my stuff put online, that was highly likely the stuff that she took. The people that put my stuff online said that they got it from Oregon, from someone named Barbara, who happens to be in an article on AOL, that there's a Barbara who's a best friend with her. And I remember hearing that last name. So I can already tell that people aren't gonna understand what I'm talking about, and they're gonna see like, "Oh, she's making it up. She's schizophrenic." That's why I'm not able to fucking explain shit to you, is because of all the trauma that you guys have caused by making up schizophrenia. That's why I can't fucking explain the shit to you. So I'm really frustrated right now. Okay, I am living to the point where I literally can't keep money in the bank. I literally can't afford food. I literally can't do anything with myself, and everybody else is stealing money. So Samantha Roeder, she had said something about a key, that she was able to get a key from somebody and convinced him for a key. And then she showed me that she had like $7,000 on her phone. And I don't know what app that was, but she had like $7,000 on her phone that she was showing me. And then she stole my credit card, and I locked my credit card, and she hasn't charged it, but she's the one that stole it. And she was filming me when I was trying to take stuff out of my storage unit in Bellingham, because people were trashing my storage unit in Bellingham, so had to get rid of it because they were constantly going in my storage unit in Bellingham from like day 2. And so the people that are at advanced storage are thieves, they're organized criminals, because they're part of the organized crime ring. They're letting people go into my storage unit immediately. Nobody knew where it was. Nobody knew that I got it. I hadn't told anybody that I had it. I hadn't told anybody that I was getting it. I didn't even use it in my bank. I used cash to pay for it. And I didn't carry any of the paperwork. The paperwork, which I might add, disappeared out of that unit almost immediately. The paperwork that I signed for the leases and stuff, I put it in that storage unit. I didn't carry it with me. I didn't let anybody know that I would have that unit. And within day 2, they had people breaking in. So I can absolutely 100% tell you that advanced heated storage are thieves. They're letting organized criminals go into other people's storage units. And I was so very, 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 very clear with them that nobody was allowed. And I was very clear with them that people had been hacking my accounts. So if somebody comes in here with a piece of paper that looks like it was from my email address or something like that, it's because somebody hacked my account and you can't fucking let them in. I was clear with them on that. So within day 2, they were coming in, and every week almost there was break-ins. And I had that unit for like 2 or 3 months. I'm clearing it out right now. Um, so the people that are hacking into my accounts are probably the same people that are going in there. Everybody's just letting them do whatever they want. Like pretty much everybody in the community is just letting people fucking steal from me. Um, the and of course the person that's in elder storage just met up with, on top of the fact that when Tammy was there at elder mini storage, I didn't get break-ins like this. Constant, 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 constant break-ins. As soon as it switched over to this new couple, these new people, as soon as it switched over, it was just breaking, 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 breaking. All my valuables were stolen out of the H building that I had, my one unit that I got rid of. They took all my valuables out of there, and it was thousands of dollars worth of stuff. Plus, they trashed it, and I had to start putting a bunch of stuff. I had to pile up in the left corner. There's a big ass pile, like a carload of garbage, basically, because they were trashing it, and you couldn't even walk in there. So they completely trashed it. And every time I went in there, when I was going through it, every single time I went in there, almost probably like three quarters of the times, you could tell things had been moved around and shit like that. Like they were still going through it like every single time I went up there. Almost every single time. And even when I changed locks, they would come when I was sleeping and they would steal the keys and stuff like that. So, it's probably the storage unit people. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, because I've been having a really hard time proving that it absolutely is the storage people, because um I don't know what they're being told or whatever, but they know that there are people breaking in and yet they still are breaking in. So there was somebody that showed up to the storage unit facility that had a thing on top of their car, a bar thing. This bar thing is the same bar thing that somebody that was being fraudulent and stealing from me in Lincoln Square when I was living indoors before I got arrested, they had that there. And then when I saw him again a few weeks back, he said to another guy that was with him, because he had the bike that was associated with stealing a bunch of stuff on my storage unit, and he was trying to tell me it wasn't his. uh, and then prior to me seeing it with the blob guy, prior to seeing me seeing it with him, it was with another crackhead thief, another method, well, probably more like a method thief, that was at the unit at the Lincoln Square apartments that I was living in a year ago. He showed up with a bunch of my property hooked up to his bike, like a bunch of my bike stuff put on his bike. And I could tell it was mine. I think even one item even had an RF on it. And like a permanent marker paint pen thing, RF on it, for my initials. And anyway, he showed up to the library and was hanging out and listening to really loud music in the middle of the night, like he was trying to show me that it's the people in Lincoln Park or Lincoln Square, that are getting into my units right now and into the unit that I was gonna get, that I got rid of. And then later on, I saw that same bike with loaded up a little bit differently, but some of the same stuff. with a different guy that's there because they all do fraud and stealing and stuff like that together. Then he was talking about how there's talking about to another drug addict at the bus stop where I was just kind of standing there about a guy that has a bar across the top of the car and some other facts about the car. Well, that car started showing up and talking to the Alger storage unit now. So, I'm like, I don't know who he is because I got a good look at him. I don't think that I've seen him before. I almost started to wonder if like he had something to do with Hackman because I guess I can't really get that into that. But those people are completely I always thought they were completely separate from Samantha Roeder and the neurofeedback person. But it looks as though Samantha and Roeder, my lawyers, and the neurofeedback people person with her friends has something to do with stealing money and getting things from um, maybe Hackman's estate or something. And I know that Samantha Roeder had talked gibberish on Christmas Day when we were eating at a restaurant. And I'm kind of wondering if she ever mentioned Betsy's last name or something like that. Because she was talking gibberish. She was freaking talking gibberish. And I don't. This is crazy stuff. It's really freaking crazy stuff. I'm like going way off topic too. So, anyway, my best guess is that I was supposed to get something from them and that Rotor just stole it. And I don't know if it almost insinuated on the AOL article that they might have been murdered because they're like found together or whatever. But Hackman was 95 years old, so I'm not entirely sure what I would feel about that because there's something really weird psycho going on with the neurofeedback lady. And I remember her saying something about the word Hackman, and I didn't recognize it as an well, if I did recognize it as an actor, I didn't recognize it as she was saying because she was saying something like she knew them or was getting something from them, but she couldn't articulate it in words that I didn't understood. It was almost like she was talking partial different language and partial English again, like people keep doing. Like I don't know what the fuck is going on because everyone else in the world, I can understand their English. So I know that it's not schizophrenia like people are trying to say online because everybody else speaks English. Like nobody else is having any issues. And it's just like these certain people. Ugh, I like it's getting so goddamn fucking frustrating, but all I know is that I was highly likely supposed to get something for whatever reason, and everybody kept it from me, and they stole it. I can't come up with any other answers. They're hacking into my accounts. They're hacking into my accounts constantly. Um, and it sounds like this has been going on for a long time and not just a few weeks because back when I talked to my lawyer, and it's the only time I talked to my lawyer, the only time I talked to my lawyer, um, The what's really fucked up is at the end of the phone call with my lawyer, he acted like he wasn't my lawyer and that he was lying, and he said he was someone else. And that was the only contact I ever had with a lawyer, where I actually had an appointment and actually talked to them. And then they said that, "Oh, oh," and the only other time before that was probably 7 or 8 months prior to that, and it was with Betsy, and she wasn't making any sense. She's one of the ones that had been on YouTube saying that she's gibberish. Shouldn't make any sense. So that really makes me wonder because that means I probably have never had any contact with lawyers, and my case really should be thrown out. Um, because I haven't had any due process whatsoever at all. Um, because the person that called themselves Betsy wasn't making any freaking sense. She was like saying a bunch of crimes that never happened, and then she was getting me confused until I finally said yes to some things that I wasn't actually saying yes to because she was driving me nuts. She kept on saying something like, "Oh, you did this, you did that." That was like wild shit that didn't happen, that didn't have anything to do with my case. It didn't, like, just completely fucking wild until I said, "Oh, yeah, yeah, I did it, whatever." Like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" You know? And, like, I oh my god. That was crazy. That conversation was totally freaking crazy. I don't even know how she got me to say the weirdest shit. I don't know if they drugged me. Like, honestly, that was let's see here. It was October or November of 2023 when I got arrested, I think. That was probably in the spring, in the early spring when I was putting up a bunch of YouTube videos about, not getting any help from any lawyers and not being able to talk to lawyers and how lawyers are talking gibberish and shit. That was when that phone call was, and that was, like, the only time I ever fucking talked to anybody that was saying they were a lawyer, and that was absolutely 100% through the North County Public Defense. That wasn't, like, a random phone call, that was them saying they were setting up an appointment, and then that person calling at that time and saying that their name was Betsy. So, this is, like, crazy. This is crazy. This is really crazy. It makes me wonder if I've never talked to a lawyer, though. Honestly, I might have never talked to a lawyer. And it would have been absolutely 100% done by the courts, by the public defense and the prosecutors. It's not that these random people were interfering. It's like these literally, when you call that public defense number, where they told me I could never meet anybody in person, and it's a Bellingham number, not a New Mexico one, not a California one, not a Hollywood one. It's like Whatcom County, and when you Google it, it says it's over by the where the car dealerships are, like over by Iowa. But when you try to go over there, there's no office. Um, I just realized something. The lady that was at the hospital. No, the lady that was at the hospital looked like a lot like her. Though that's fucking crazy. That's probably not her though. It's probably just me looking at Asians think they all look the same or whatever. But I swear it looked like her, like at the hospital too. But that wouldn't make any sense. So Samantha Roeder stole money, for sure, because I think she has said that ARC name or whatever it is, the Arakawa. Is that Asian? Like Japanese. Actually, probably sounds Japanese, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. I think that's one of the. That is absolutely the gibberish word that my lawyer said a few times when I was talking to him too. Um, yeah, this is confusing. This is really confusing. I don't understand why my court case hasn't been thrown out yet. This is like really, honestly, it's just crazy. This is really crazy. But I would, I'm about 99% positive this morning that Samantha Roeder and the neurofeedback person both stole money or had something to do with doing something to me to get in between me and this famous lady, Betsy, or something like that. I'm not entirely sure what the hell just happened, but I don't know, I don't really understand who it is that's hacking my accounts. And I knew that they were hacking it for a reason. And I think it's more than just these people. I don't know how much these people were worth. If they killed them both, like I don't know how much these people were worth. Um now my keyboard's not working as though it has probably malware on it or something, and I need to reinstall my keyboard and shit. Um the A key, and it started off with the A key and then it started going to other keys. Um how much money, cuz he's really old. He was in 95. Um this was put up 9 hours ago. That's so weird because she kept on saying something about hackman, and I was like, I know that I freaking know that name. Like I can't understand what you're saying. Um, I just screwed that up. I'm sorry. I'm trying to look at something on here. Dang it. Does everybody else? Does literally the entire world know who I am and is laughing at me? Is that why everybody's laughing at me everywhere? Like because the Grammys called me and stuff, and I don't know if I was put on air, and they're all calling me idiots because I don't know what the fuck is going on. Um, because his death stood at nearly $80 million. It is a lot of money. Um, yeah, but I'm pretty damn sure, in fact, I'm entirely sure that Samantha Roeder has stolen money and or has committed fraud or something like that to get the money, and the newer feedback people person. But at the very least, they both were stealing valuables from me. Especially the neurofeedback person, uh, they stole valuables, and the refinery person stole valuables. But then she gave me money. But I think it was mostly the neurofeedback person. Um, but the other thing I was going to say is when the neurofeedback person was calling Betsy, they made me go unconscious somehow. They did something to me to make me go unconscious. And I had posted on Facebook the next day saying that it almost felt like um I was dying. I think I erased it because I felt like people were gonna call me crazy. Um so I erased the post because I couldn't understand because what I was hearing didn't sound like English, but I wasn't like it. It was probably is she Japanese? Because it was probably Japanese because now actually it did sound something like that. Because it didn't sound like I don't think that it sounded like Spanish, but it sounded like something that was in English. Um, she was speaking some English, but I couldn't gather it. It was almost like somebody had done something to me. I don't even know how to explain it. Because I don't know how I passed out because I just kind of passed out while they were talking on the phone. And they were supposed to be talking to me because she had her on speakerphone, like, she was talking to me, and, like, I passed out. So, I was, like, drugged or something, um, and that following day, it felt like I was poisoned, um, uh, like I was feeling at Lincoln Square. So, I hadn't felt like that for a long time. I almost rarely ever feel like that. And whatever the hell they were doing to me at Lincoln Square to like poison me, they did to me again at this neurofeedback lady's place when she called Betsy. And then by the next day I was better. Um and I was starting to think that I have a allergic reaction to some type of drug or some kind of really bad adverse reaction to something like that. And that's why it feels like it almost feels like you're being poisoned or something. Um, so I have to go. It's 11:26, and I was supposed to already I'm supposed to be leaving the hotel. Um, they told me I could have an hour later checkout because I got here really late and basically paid $80 for a shower because I can't get any help and I can't get anything done in life because of all these people stealing from me. Um, so I had to pay $80 for a shower. Um, but yeah, they stole stuff. They've been drugging me. It makes me wonder I don't really want to connect them with the same people that were poisoning me at Lincoln Square when I was living there. But there's something really fucking weird going on, and I now don't know that I ever talked to a lawyer at this point. And I need help figuring out how to tell the courts that I haven't had due process for an entire year, and they need to dismiss the case because this is just crazy. I didn't do anything criminal. I didn't have any intent to do anything criminal. All I did was touch somebody with an empty backpack that was telling me to hit them, and they were bullying me. I don't see why somebody should get arrested for that and have a charge and go to jail and all this other shit when they don't arrest any criminals. And it doesn't matter how many times I report to the police that I'm being stolen from, they don't ever do anything about it. So, I don't like there's no reason why this case shouldn't be thrown out. There's like it's not even justifiable at this point. It's not even close to justifiable why this case shouldn't be thrown out by now. Um, this is nuts. It's goddamn nuts. I also found out that um the people that are at the subsidized housing unit, people that are all drug addicts and wacko crazies, that people are allowing to live in subsidized housing instead of good people like me. They choose all the effed up people that shouldn't have subsidized housing. And it makes it so that people like me that are really good can't handle living in those environments. Um, I just found out that they have been shown altered body camera footage of the police and different documents that the prosecutors have um, that they were given. And I have not been allowed to see any of it. And I've been told that I'm not allowed to see any of it. And I've been told that I'm not allowed to know anything that they're saying, which is a violation of due process. So, yeah, the subsidized housing people, the little people that are in subsidized housing, like all the meth heads and shit, are going around telling lies and saying, "Oh, this is what's in there. This is what's in there. I saw it. Blah blah blah." And but they're skewing it all like messed up to make it look like I'm bad or something. But I mean, they're really skewing it like way out of control, like meth heads do, because that's what meth heads do. So my lawyers, my supposed public defense attorneys, have allowed the meth heads to have it and not me. So that's a violation of due process, isn't it? I would think so. I would really honestly think so. Um and yeah, so um there's a lot to unpack. Me just finding out just now that this Betsy person is Gene Hackman's wife. And not only did they steal my valuables out of my storage unit, not Hackman, these people did, but they're stealing the money from them. Um, yeah, that's Bellingham. Not only that, but the people that are doing it are friends and up there in society in our Bellingham society, not just the meth heads. Like Samantha Roeder, she's friends with a bunch of my friends that are on Facebook, and a bunch of those friends are like politicians and shit. So, that's where we're at. That's where Bellingham is at right now. That's Yep, that's where Bellingham is at right now. Um, and she claims that she's on the board of directors for the YWCA. And during the time that Betsy appeared was also, by the way, the time period that when I did go into the Y, the fentanyl users were making me sick because you just have a curtain, a fabric curtain on as your wall. So they would be smoking their fentanyl or whatever, and I couldn't even be in there. So I had to try to stay away from the Y as much as possible and only sleep there. But I started getting really sick because mostly because I was pretty sure it was mold, but also because of these people. So like, but then, but then this is what happened. So I got a phone call when I was there at the Y that was weird where they wanted to, what was the phone call about? Now I already forgot what the phone call was, but when I had to leave the Y this last time, because 'cause I've been in there a couple of times where I've left on my own because I can't be around the drug usage and all of the theft and getting this close to getting arrested for assault, right? So, it gets to the point where you really wanna start beating them up or whatever, and you gotta leave. Um, because yeah, like, I do not want your goddamn fentanyl smoke in my fucking face. So, like, anyway, when the reason why I had to leave the Y the last time was because somebody went in my room and trashed it and put garbage everywhere and newspaper everywhere. I don't read newspaper. I've never had any newspapers. I can't tell you the last time I picked up a newspaper. Okay, I'm always on my laptop, on YouTube and things, but I can't tell you the last time I ever bought a newspaper. It's been decades. And in fact, I don't know that I've really bought newspapers since I was maybe 20, and I don't think I ever really bought them then. But anyway, um, they put a bunch of destroyed and ripped up newspaper all over my room and a bunch of garbage, like garbage, and a bunch of food that I had never eaten. And dirty plates and moldy plates and all kinds of weird stuff just appeared one day. And so I went downstairs and I'm like, they just trashed my room. Like, I'm getting really pissed off at them. Like, I don't know what to do anymore. Like, I'm gonna have to probably leave. Like, cause I can't. Mm, you know? And they went up there, the staff went up there and then accused me of being a schizophrenic and doing it. And then I started yelling because I was like, Didn't I already tell you that the word schizophrenia is off? Like, I'm not. No, 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 no. We're not doing that word. You're gonna shut the fuck up, you know? And so I got pissed off because I was like, I'm 40 years old. Okay. I'm 40 years old. I don't need to listen to your fucking shit, right? So anyway, they trashed my room and I had to leave because and they even called the cops for me telling them that they can't call me a schizophrenic in there. Um, because they were claiming that that's how I live. Just anyway, um, I was like, "No, because my room has never looked like this, and all of a sudden it looks like this today." Where do you you think people just change like that? Like, no. But anyway, I had to leave, and that's right when they were changing staff over. I don't know how that has to do with the fact that Samantha Roeder's on the board. I'm just mentioning it apparently because, like, that's why I had to leave. I've already been on here an hour and I need to check out, and I'm already reaching the point of late checkout and not packed at all. So I need to go. Um, I've been talking way more than I thought. And yeah. So, uh I don't even care anymore. I'm naming names. Um I really needed that money. And now I can't somebody changed the email to my GoFundMe. So somebody's probably hacked into my GoFundMe. I don't know what they can do with it exactly, but they're probably doing shit with it right now. So somebody has taken over my GoFundMe for the time being again, and they keep on taking over my PayPal. They keep on taking over my Cash App, and they've taken over my TikTok. If you guys know my old TikTok Rain Cloud 216, I haven't had it since last June. They've taken over it, and TikTok won't let me have it back. So, um, really, really, really think that if there's any fucking humanity whatsoever at all, um, the city really needs to fucking drop this case because you guys have gone way out of control. Samantha Roeder's up there with the city. Um, it says the city is the one that's prosecuting me. So, I think the city taxpayer owes me a lot of money, to be honest. The city does. Um, because these people that are hacking into all this shit, they've taken over everything. They've taken over my Google, and they've taken over my Cash App, they've taken over Venmo before, they've taken over PayPal before, they've taken over TikTok, they've taken over Instagram before. I have my Instagram back right now. They've taken over my Facebook account before. I have my Facebook account back right now. Um, they've taken over everything, and it's constant. It's almost like they've convinced every person that ever was to attack me all over the United States. Um, yeah.